I don't know. All right. Welcome to American Hammers TV. This is Hammers Headlines. We're going to try something new, something that we tried a long time ago, I think maybe once, where we just pull up, a couple different websites that have West Ham news and just riff off of the headlines, really. And we got my good friend Wally.
Hey. Yeah.
Wally.
Good to see you, Tim.
How's
been
the
a
cop?
while. How's the what?
How's life in the cop?
Oh, King of Prussia. Oh, yeah. Good.
King of Prussia, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, cop. What are you talking about? Yeah, King of Prussia. Yeah, we finally, the smoke is clearing. We've had like serious wildfire smoke from Canada. Canada's sending their wildfire smoke down here. And finally it's clearing out, but the last 2 days it was pretty weird around here,
Yeah, I heard, and it's weird because I'm also on the East Coast and we didn't get it at all.
Wow.
We got a lot of rain, a lot of weird clouds, but no smoke. But Scott, how's life in Reno?
Oh,
you're on mute, dude.
Muted. It's that bad, huh?
Come on, bro. Sorry, we don't get wildfire smoke until August when California goes up in smoke every year.
That's right.
And so you guys get like a couple weeks of it. We have about a month straight of California's wildfire mess every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't usually get it here. I can't remember the last time we had it this bad. So and especially this, like August or something normal, but June is weird. But
yeah.
Especially up there. I didn't know that they had anything to burn up there. I thought it was all snow and
I know.
polar bears.
Like permafrost or something. I didn't know they had trees in Canada. But
those damn maple trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Did it smell good at least? Like maple syrup?
No, it didn't.
No?
It just didn't, it smelled weird. And you go out, I went out at night and the moon is like orange. It's really weird. Like just strange.
Before we get into the news, Scott, tell us a little bit about because you were on our last show, which was a few days ago before the whatever we call it, the conference final, the Europa League conference final. And you mentioned that you and John, who was also on the show, were going to be hanging out in Vegas. How was that?
It was exceptional. So the manager of the Hard Rock Cafe, he's a West Ham guy.
Awesome.
And so if you're in Vegas and it's match day, you can always go there and catch the match. But it was great. There was over 50 people there and a big mixture of older Americans and kids that know nothing about the game that just yell and scream at the television. And, and then there were the quiet guys like me. And then there were like it was such a good group. There were guys from London that were there too. It was a great time. It was really a good time.
Awesome.
And that's the second event I've been to there, and they're always just great.
And we won, so even better, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That made it a whole lot better for sure.
It's just so surreal, like watching them hold up a trophy. It was just so bizarre.
It is weird.
It still hasn't really hit me yet, but the fact that the Conference League, it was the league that we were ripping on Tottenham for being in when we were in Europa League, and then now all of a sudden we're in Europa League and I'm in the Conference League, and I'm like, well then who cares really? It's just a third-rate fucking European league or whatever. But I am so wrong because obviously winning that, now we're in the Europa League, or actual Europa League next year. So that's good stuff. And £5 million, I guess, or euro, or whatever we get.
Yeah.
Prize. But
No, it was cool.
Let's head into some news.
Very nice to see the boys
I'm assuming
play it out.
A lot of the news is going to be about the Europa League. So, let's just dive right in. Looks like the first one here is One Football. It says, yeah, Rice to Arsenal. Yeah. Let's just open this shit up, actually. Smith Rowe could be key. The hell is this about? I think it's talking about how we're asking for something in return. So it's not just money, but we're looking for the Hammers reportedly have an eye on Arsenal's young talent, Emil Smith Rowe, as well. So
Good.
It looks like we're going to try to sweeten the pot there in order to, or deep into our negotiations there, if that even happens. What are you guys' thoughts? Do you guys even think that Arsenal, I mean, he's even going to go to Arsenal? Do you think that he's either A, going to stay, B, Arsenal, C, or possibly some other club like United or Real, or even here Bayern Munich? Start with you, Scott, and we'll go to Wally thereafter.
I'll be honest. He can go wherever he wants. You know, like, I really feel like we've gotten out of him, and now we can cash in, which we should. Where's he going to go? I think if he wants to win trophies, he goes to a Bayern Munich. He goes to a city, right? He goes someplace where he knows he's going to win trophies. But I think going to Arsenal is a coin flip, because going to Arsenal, you still have to beat City in every tournament. You know, you have to beat teams that are massively better than you on a regular basis.
Yeah. Wally.
Yeah, I think I kind of hope he goes to City, to be honest, because I feel like City is, you know, they're so much better than anybody else, and it almost doesn't feel like they're a competitor. So, you know, we can play against him, and you know we're probably going to get beat, but you know it'd be relaxed or whatever. If he goes to Arsenal, then you know that's more of a competitor, somewhat a competitor, and so I hope he goes to City, to be honest, or maybe to, you know, out of the league altogether. But it would be good to have him come back to the London Stadium. I think everybody would appreciate him, you know, even if he's playing for another side. So yeah, I just hope he goes to. If he's going to go somewhere in the league, I hope it's City.
Yeah.
But,
I hope he goes nowhere in the league. So there's two things. So number one, I hope that if he leaves, I hope he screws and gets completely out of England. I wouldn't want us to have to compete against him and then have to deal with our fans, you know, every time he shows up in a different uniform. Because you got to give the guy support for what he did for the club. So you can't boo him, obviously. And that's just weird. Celebrate a player on another team. So that's just my personal opinion. Secondly, I want him to go overseas, like somewhere else, not overseas, Jesus Christ, somewhere else in Europe, and make that money, because he deserves it. Like, just make as much money as you possibly can. Go to Bayern, go to Real, go to wherever. However, English players don't really have the greatest success, like overall, at a younger age. You know, signing big deals over in in Spain or I can't say Germany, but mostly in Spain. I don't think he'd do that well. I don't think he'd do as well as he would in England. So I think if he went to United or he went to City or he went to Arsenal, I think he'd do a lot better, and good for him. And that's what everybody wants at the end of the day, because Declan's awesome, great dude. But I also just don't want to have us compete against him. I don't want him to be the reason why we get relegated next year or whatever, you know? So.
Well, that's why I want him to go to City, because I don't feel like we compete against them. You know, they're almost like a league above us. So,
I see your point, and I kind of agree with that too. We always get smoked by them anyway. Or if he's there. It wouldn't be that much of a difference. You're right. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't want.
I don't know if he cracks the lineup though at City. I don't think he walks into a spot, and I think that's a concern of his. He doesn't want to go somewhere and I don't think he wants to go somewhere and have to earn a spot, right? Like, he wants to go in and have a spot. Which is also why he wouldn't
necessarily want to go abroad, because if he goes to Germany or goes to Spain, now he's not only got to compete for a spot, but he's also going to learn the languages. And
exactly.
There's a language barrier thing too, on top of trying to fight for your position too. So he might not want to do that. He might want to obviously clearly stay here, but or in England. But,
Yeah, I had read that he kind of would want to stay in London, so that really points to Arsenal then.
Yeah,
he's not going to go to Spurs, and
most likely where he'll end up is Arsenal. That's what everybody seems to be saying.
Right.
Let's see what else the good old One Football has before we switch over to the team talk. Yeah, and that's the other thing. They keep saying like a first offer is likely to be 90 million. I've seen that in a couple different articles. Would you take 90? Before we bounce off to something else, would you take 90 million pounds? You think that's a good fee for him, Declan? Or would you hold off for more?
Yes. I think you hold out for more, but I think 90 is a fair fee.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a lot. I mean, people talk about 120, but that just seems a lot, because he's not really an attacking player. I think the higher fees tend to go for the attacking players, and so I think 90 is pretty darn good. Oops, we lost Tim. But
Tim's
so
gone.
Anyway, I think 90 was a decent price, especially if we can get another player along with it.
I think 90 plus a player or 80 plus a player. I think that I mean Grealish went for an astronomical sum, but he's also an attacking player. And wherever Declan goes, I know, but they're not going to give him the keys to the car like Moyes did his last 2 years. He's going to be, hey, you sit and you defend.
Right.
And that's what we expect of you. If you get up and score a goal, great, but it's not your job anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And so when that's not his job, then, that fee goes down.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah, I think if we could get 90, be happy with that. So here's a new. I see Tim must be running the show in the background, but
yeah.
So Roma make a loan approach for West Ham's Scamacca. Loan, weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I think we bought. I don't know who's doing our recruiting, but I think Moyes tried to play a more expansive, beautiful game, by adding Paqueta and Scamacca, but he just realized that the team wasn't built for it. We lost Cornet to injury so quick.
Yep.
And all that money we spent last year, I mean, we just watched it ending up sitting on the bench, other than Paqueta, who absolutely has been a star. But I think
lately. But it took Paqueta a while to get going.
Yeah, and it was always going to for him. It's an adjustment period from that. But I think that, I'm so bummed because I love Scamacca.
Yeah.
I think that he's a huge talent. And I just feel like, he came in under a promise of we're going to play more expansive football. And then, because that's half of your recruiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about money. It's about, hey, this is the style of play we're going to play. And so he came in, and I'm sure they were telling him we're going to play it this way. And then next thing you know, we're playing Route 1 with Antonio again.
I know.
And to be fair, that goal that was scored at the end of the night, and that was Paqueta. Everybody giving Bowen all the credit. Paqueta played that ball through with the outside of his foot.
Did he? Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That was
like
tremendous.
he just that was everyone gave man of the match all around. Paqueta was easily our best player all night long, and I didn't think there was any question.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean Ben Rama scored the penalty, which that's a pressure pen, so kudos to him for that. But I didn't think he did much other than that I could tell.
He was shocking. He was shocking the rest of the time he was on the pitch. Yeah. And to be fair, I joked that we should sub him on in the 70th minute in
Right.
case we were going to pens,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
and they went the other way, which we knew would happen anyway. I literally was sitting at the table with John, and I said, "So at the 76th minute, Fornals will come on for Ben Rama."
Yep.
And
That's
at the
pretty-
76th minute, Fornals came on for Ben Rama. I mean, it's almost like there's no. I look. People can love Moyes, they can hate Moyes. I don't think he's a great tactical coach when it comes to making changes, and maybe that's due to our limited bench. And I could understand some of that too. But like the same subs, it's the same single subs every single time in the same spots at the same time of the game, regardless of you're winning or losing, unless there's an injury.
Yeah, that's right.
I had no fucking idea that I wasn't even there. I was
Oh,
talking,
really?
I was talking to you guys and
Where are
everything,
you?
and I'm like, why are they talking over me? What the hell's going on?
What a bunch of
You were
douchebags.
Seriously,
Yeah,
because in order to do that screen and actually make it move and stuff like that, I wasn't looking at the StreamYard. Anyway, whatever. Long story.
You were gone. Yeah.
Dude, I was gone.
Tim, you
man.
cussed us out, didn't you? You cussed us out.
Yeah, I
Fuck
know.
these guys.
Do it fucking
Let me
live.
talk.
Yeah.
Let me
You're
talk.
not coming my show ever again.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Boy,
Anyway,
Wow.
what the hell?
I don't know. I'm trying to fix it on my end. I might have to log out and come back in.
You're good now.
Yeah, you seem good. Oops.
Oh, all right. Well, fine. See
All
ya.
right.
Take care.
We'll talk over him now.
All right. Sorry. So I'll pull up the comments while we wait for Scott. Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother. Yeah. So we did it. The boys. Hey, Johnson. What's going on, my man? You're up 3 years in a row. Yes, sir. Danny's in here too. What the hell? Did I miss
So
something?
Danny is Johnson Jackson.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's his
Yeah.
kids. That's his kids. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right on,
Gotcha.
brother. Good to see you, my man. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Somebody says here that we will go to he won't go to City, he won't replace Rodri unless they get rid of Gundogan, whatever. You're probably right. Sky's the limit with Rice. He could go anywhere. That's true. Yeah, that is true. And Scott is back. All right. Yeah, but basically what I was saying was, which you guys couldn't hear.
I know. You probably had a good
Now he's
point.
gone again.
He's gone.
Jesus Christ. This is the best show ever. All right.
Yeah.
So what I was saying was that I don't remember what the fuck I was saying. What was I saying?
Skamaka?
Yeah, Skamaka. We'll wait for him to load up here. All right, there we go. All right. Can you hear us now, dude?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So what I was saying while I was in the darkness was that we spent a lot of money for this dude. And yes, I was agreeing with you, Scott. You couldn't hear me, but I was agreeing with you saying yes. I mean, I was excited when we signed him, and I thought he looked a great player, but unfortunately he just like other strikers like Allaire and so on, just didn't fit Moyes. I mean, Moyes didn't really care to make it work with them. But anyway,
I still understand why we brought in Ings. I don't understand because he's exactly the same player as Skamaka.
I know,
right? Like he needs another forward. Why do we bring in Ings? We spend 15 million, call it a day. He's our highest earning player. Ings.
Was it out of spite? I don't know. Like was Skamaka wasn't Moyes' guy? I mean, I'm hearing it was. I can never tell the truth. Like whose guys? Who was it? Sullivan's guy? Was it Noble? Was it Moyes? But anyway, I just feel that he just a great player, just not a great fit. Ings, again, just a token, maybe for registration purposes. We needed the English guy on there on a roster. I don't know. I thought we were all set with that. But yeah. Bottom line is, hey, we've spent a lot of money on the guy. Was what I was trying to say was we spent a lot of money on him rather than eat it and sell him off for like 20 million pounds to some fucking other team in Europe. Let's loan him out and take his wages off for now, and then maybe sell him off at some other point down the line. Get our money's worth out of as much as we possibly can. If we're not going to use him, that's the point. If we're not going to use him, but maybe, hey, in Europe next year, I mean, do either of you guys think there would be a chance now that we're going to be in the Europa League? that we may want, or Moyes may want to actually use him next year?
Yeah, no, I think we overuse Antonio, and I don't know that Antonio. I honestly, I mean, I would be content if we sold Antonio this year. I don't think he has much left in his legs. I think that
I've been saying that for years, man. But nobody else.
I know, but
Nobody else
you know,
believes
and now he's eating correctly, so he's not pulling hamstrings every other week,
True.
right?
Right.
But he is now. He's also playing with the Jamaican national team, which adds to like.
Mhm.
So the whole thing, I think we keep him, and I think we use him in Europa, unless we're gonna make Ings that guy. I mean, not because Ings and him are the same player. I mean,
Mhm.
theoretically, not talent-wise,
No.
but positionally, they're the same player. So I would like to see us drop Ings and get his wages off, as opposed to Skamaka, who's probably on 60,000. Like when you come in from those leagues, man, you're not making a ton of money.
Yeah.
I think Paqueta's on 60. And
Really?
they doubled his wages from France.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is the. I knew this was coming, but I wonder what the details are actually. It says West Ham charged by UEFA following disturbing scenes at the Europa Conference League final, which was. I saw West Ham fans on Twitter saying, "How can they be so upset? It was only a couple guys, and da 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 da." Like it looked like more than a couple bottles flying. It looked like quite a few actually. Looked like several would be the better word, I suppose. But regardless, what can they do? I mean, now that we won, obviously the club, Fiorentina, released a statement earlier in the day, saying that hey, they're appalled at what happened and shocked that at the time UEFA did nothing about it, and but obviously what can you do when the game's over? But it looks, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the hell can they do now? Like what could actually happen?
Well, next year we can have to be forced to play home games in an empty stadium.
It says it remains to be seen whether the Hammers will escape with just a fine, or if the punishment will be more severe and affect the Europa League campaign next season.
Wow.
Interesting. Yeah, so again, I love these this is what Lee loves about British press, and is the fact that they nail you with these this clickbait.
Well, after the semifinal and some of our players waded in trying to protect the families and stuff, there was talk about, they might get, suspended or whatever, but nothing happened from that. So hopefully this is the same kind of deal where they'll make a lot of noise, but nothing else.
As Fiorentina said in their little press release, they were like, "Oh, but it affected our star player, and therefore it affected the rest of the players because their star player was dizzy, and it affected the outcome of the game." And
well, yeah, I could tell they kept falling over every time you touched them.
Yeah.
Like, could they have fallen over even more? I don't know. That was embarrassing on their side. So, anyway.
Right, let's see if I can pull up a different one here. So what say you in the chat, people? I don't hear any comments about what we just talked about, or are you guys just ignoring the fact that we supposedly are getting charged? Right, present.
I mean, it was embarrassing. I was not happy, and it happened on a couple of different occasions. And then finally, when the guy's head got cut open, then I think they finally stopped because our players were just pleading with them to stop it. So
that's true.
If it had just been the cups, that I can't see any. But the fact that the guy got cut by something or other, that was not good. But I don't know what the precedent is. I don't know, if it means we got to play for an empty stadium, or who knows, or our away allocation gets cut. I don't know.
Lee would love this one. Typical British press here. Yeah. A tin pot trophy. Fucking ads. See, that's what I hate about the goddamn British press too.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. West Ham made memories. Another club should follow. Yeah, great. So, wow. What are you saying, man? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we won.
We're champions.
Yeah, we won. God damn, fucking mouse is sucking tonight too.
Yeah, there's so many ads too.
Yeah, I'm not accepting your damn cookies, Guardian. You're not having my cookies, man. All right, yeah, Declan Rice to Arsenal. We've already talked about that. Yep, great. Yeah, we won. So there's a fundraiser going on for somebody who smashed their skull, I guess, a West Ham fan.
Ooh,
Yeah.
really?
In Prague, yeah, after watching the final. No,
Wow.
It wasn't the midfielder for Fiorentina. It was actually a West Ham supporter, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a West Ham supporter who had a fall. I saw a thing about it.
A fall?
Yeah, I don't know where he fell, but he fell and cracked his skull.
All right, so he wasn't attacked. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So yes, please, search that up, and if you want to donate, I guess there's a place to donate. They're looking for fundraising. And what is this? Handed huge Victor, whatever. What? Help me here, somebody. Hammer's News. Jesus, this isn't that reliable anyway. But looks like we're looking at some guy named Victor.
I've never heard of Victor.
Victor G.
Yeah, Victor G. Yeah.
Victor G. Out of where are you from, dude? Oh, Coventry. Yeah. Okay, that's the Coventry. Yeah, it's, 17 million euro, 14.5 million. They've been talking about that for a while. So yes, this is typical Hammer's News.
Is he a striker type? Is that?
I think he's a mid.
Oh, midfield.
I think so. Are we gonna mention what he is, dude? Where is it? Backline, huh? So
really?
Maybe a center half. Interesting. No, but he has 43 goals and 17 assists. What the hell are you talking about? He's a forward.
Okay.
Coventry forward is equally as strong with both feet and is very good at playing with his back to goal, holding up the ball. We need a hold-up player. He has been labeled a lethal striker by Team Talk. Okay, and then according to Transfer Market, he bagged 22 goals and 12 assists in 50 appearances for the Sky Blues this season. And he has 43 goals, 17 assists in 116 games for Coventry. So, yeah, that sounds interesting. A striker. Championship, too. We've had not bad luck with, we got Bowen from Championship.
Yeah, Bowen's been good.
Yeah.
Dude, Bowen. Dude, we can't lose Bowen, man. If we lose Rice, we just can't. Dude, Bowen is so good. So good.
Well, he plays so much, too. He's like an Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
His finish was the first time all season I saw him use touch on a shot. I swear, every other time he's finished a ball, he tries to beat the piss out of it. And the one time, the goal matters, he uses touch and puts it in.
Yeah. I can't remember if he did that last season, but I remember watching him at Hull, and he was just the same, though. He was ball near his feet, smash. Like, it was just instinct. It was just quick shots, quick shots. Right, left foot, doesn't matter. He used both feet. It was great. But, yeah, I love his, his anticipation, his push, his drive. Even when he fucks up and sends it into, yeah, he'll pull an Antonio from here and there, good old Rosie. But great, dude, and I'm so sick of this. So yeah, Moyes. All right, I guess there's really not
Does
much.
Moyes go to Celtic? Does Moyes leave and go to Celtic?
No, no. He said it himself like 5,000 times in like the press conferences leading up to like throughout the end of the season when his even when he was on the verge of getting sacked supposedly, he kept saying over and over again, "I have unfinished business. We're building something here." He keeps saying that like bullet points, like he's a politician, and he did the same thing leading up to the final. He said the same thing. He's like, so if you win, blah blah blah, would you plan on sticking around? He's like, well, I have unfinished business here. I intend we're building something here. He says the same
Right.
things over and over again. So that's from him, but I don't know if he's full of shit or not. I mean, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're not extending him. I
He's
mean,
still got
all the news I've heard is that that Sullivan's they're just like, yeah, he's going to be our coach through next year. So if we're not extending him, what's the point?
Yeah, he'll get no
That last
respect.
year of a coach's contract is like a death nail. If you make it to your last year, then and you've not gotten an extension, you're not going to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's college. That's every sport, every level.
So I'm sorry. When's his contract run out? I thought, does he not have
End of next year.
Yeah, he's got one more year.
One more year. Yeah. Well, maybe they anticipate him getting in trouble again, like January, and then getting this out, or maybe waiting until next year when in the first few months when people start getting the sack, and then all of a sudden a key candidate opens up that you weren't expecting and hoping for, and then they can make.
But to be fair, who is out there to even be hired right now?
Right now, nobody. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, but maybe November. I don't know. Maybe November when someone starts to struggle, or sorry, when a championship type, not championship. Jesus Christ, wrong words, verbiage. I'm speaking American here. When a top 6 type club, or maybe even top 8 or whatever, in England, they start to not perform that high up the table. Maybe they're down, not necessarily at the bottom, but they're not quite up in the top 6, top 8, or whatever. Come November, then maybe something opens up. Maybe somebody gets the sack early because we don't look like we're going to finish in the top 6. Let's sack early. That's what those bigger clubs generally do. That opens up maybe I don't know who. I'm not saying obviously we'll never get a Jurgen Klopp, but I mean along those lines.
So you're saying we might get Lampard then, like
right?
Well, Big Sam's open for
Big Sam too, yeah.
Sam's open for
Big Sam's got a job available.
Well, it's interesting.
There was a really good book I read called Life on the Volcano, and it's just like it's basically interviews with top English managers, and it's an exceptional read because it goes into depth into all these different managers. And Moyes is one of them they go into. It's an absolute great read if you just like to understand like where the managers came from and like how they got to where they are. It's an absolutely great read.
There's another great read. Let me find the thing I want to mention too, because one of our good friends of the show, what the hell did I do with my phone? Son of a bitch. Oh God, Robert Banks, great friend of the show, wrote a book about how much he hates Luton.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and they're in the preview. I want to get him back in the show and get his thoughts on Luton being back in the Premier League. That would be great.
Yeah,
I don't know how well that'll go over, but yeah,
that's kind of mind blowing.
Also, that's to keep in mind. We got Vincent Kompany and Burnley back in the fold, and Sheffield United as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Luton.
What does it say here? We missed out on Postecoglou. The guy that went to Spurs from Celtic. You're right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was a great point, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
That position is open. but again, that's where Scots go when they aren't done, when they're not really done, but they definitely effed up in the Premier League and their opportunity rather than going to Championship or League One. Yeah, they'll take Celtic because that'll build up their resume again, so that they can get back.
Everybody wins at Celtic.
Everybody does.
You roll the balls out, you win at Celtic.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
You look like a genius.
Exactly.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting the teams this season that panicked and fired their managers, they all went down, and the teams that stuck with their managers, us, Forest, Bournemouth, they stuck with their managers and they stayed up. So
Bournemouth stuck near the end. You're right. They did get rid of. They were the first ones to get rid of somebody.
Oh, they were first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right away.
But they stuck with O'Neill like
They did,
Yeah.
and I'm happy for him because he's a former Hammer, and
Look, Nottingham Forest get all my respect because they signed Jesse Lingard on stupid wages and still managed to survive. That kid was making 200 and plus an appearance fee. I mean, and the manager was like, fuck it, he's not playing for me.
Wow.
He's bad. And they stuck by the manager, and I like him. I love their manager just because he says exactly what's on his mind.
Listen, I'm not even joking. I agree with you. I actually, no joke, after every Nottingham Forest match, he pops up on my YouTube feed because I keep watching his damn post conferences, his press conferences, because it's so refreshing to hear someone talk like that. Like, I'm not a Forest fan by any means, but Steve Cooper or Scott Cooper, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, Steve Cooper.
Scott Cooper's a baseball player, Jesus Christ, in the 80s for the Red Sox. Yeah. But anyway, Steve Cooper, yeah. He's so refreshing. And I'm not even joking. Yeah. That's why I used to listen to Nathan Jones when he was with Luton. Anytime he would bounce back to Luton, I would listen to his interviews because they were so refreshing to hear them. Again, and Cooper's the same way. And Cooper, poor guy, man, he had no control over his transfers, and they had almost a record of new faces, new transfers, and then that was in August or whatever, right?
Yeah, they brought in 13 or 14 new players.
They signed even more.
That's crazy.
So do we get Lingard back on 15,000 a week?
Yeah, that would be hilarious. That would be great.
Yeah, I know. But
I don't know what happened to him. I mean, wow.
He wanted not to be here. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, no, we got to get Lingard. Well, he doesn't want to be here, or he would have been here again. So fuck him. Like, let him go.
Yeah,
let him go wherever
he
needs to go. We don't need that. They don't want to be here. That's it. Because again, one thing that Moyes has helped with is making sure that our squad, they're tight. They have the togetherness. That's the one thing that they do have more than anything else. We are definitely not the most talented squad in the league by any means, but we're also not the worst either. Not by any means. I think we're somewhere middle of the pack. Yeah.
And we're playing in Europa.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
In the Europa League, dude.
And we're in like pot one, so we won't get any of the top teams in our group.
Correct.
Because we're like seeded.
Correct.
As one of the top.
We go in as the one.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep, Lingard was a bust at Forest. You're right there, buddy.
I had a buddy at school was asking me like how to break down what the conference league was, and I said, so think about NCAA basketball. There's the NCAA tournament. There's the NIT. We won the CBA, but we got a cup. And I was like, that's the extreme version of it, really. But
like
it's what Americans can understand.
NAIA or whatever it is, or
yeah, exactly.
but it's it's a European championship. So we
It's like if
are
you won that and then managed to get into the NCAA tournament the next year because of you
Right.
winning the NA.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like a junior college,
Right.
something like that. Being in the 64 or whatever. 32. Whatever. Yeah, good stuff. But so one thing that I thought we were going to talk about on Lee's show, because he told me we were going to talk about it, and I don't know if you guys discussed it after I left, but I was only there for like an hour. But he definitely titled the show, the Europa final review. But he told me that we were also going to be doing a season review overall, and I don't know. So did you guys end up discussing that or no?
I don't think so. No,
Nope.
we were pretty narrow focused on the Europa.
Exactly, because the anticipation was killing us, obviously, because it was right there.
Oh no. Yeah.
So that said, how would you grade our season overall? And then maybe, obviously you can't grade the Europa League because we obviously A+, we nailed it. But and I'm assuming that I don't know, the Premier League wasn't so hot. But how would you grade the club, and who was your standouts, and who were your biggest disappointments? We'll start with Wally, and then get to Scott.
Okay, so yeah, I was saying since like November, if we could stay up and win the conference league, I would be totally happy, and that's what happened. We were undefeated, in Europe, so that's pretty extraordinary. We've got a lot of good things we can say. Undefeated in Europe, we're a European champion. Not the European champion, but a European champion. So anyway, like you say, yeah, that the Conference League was great. But as far as the Premier League, it was a struggle. We're still, trying to scrape points, near the end of the season. And even in November, I was thinking, we should really, fire Moyes before the break for the World Cup. I guess, retrospect, it's good we didn't, but I thought that was the time to do it. So I don't know. I would rate our season like a C- or something in the Premier League, basically.
Yeah.
And the other cups, we didn't really do much either. So, but we're still champions.
I think the eye was on the prize because we were so close last year in the Europa League that they felt that with the competition being lighter and in the Conference League, that let's go all in on that.
Yeah,
we can get back into the Europa next year. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it worked out.
They did not care about the Caribou whatever Cup and the other one.
Does anybody?
Yeah, well, smaller clubs do. Teams down there in League Two, and that never actually went.
I didn't know what Carabao was until like a buddy of mine and I were sitting at work, and I was looking it up and found out it was an energy drink.
Yeah.
So I tried to order it, and I could get like a case of it for $6, but shipping was $24.
Yep.
And I was like, man, 30. No, I can't do that.
That's just like the West Ham shop, though. I mean,
exactly.
I go in there and buy. I wait till the end of the season, buy a ton of stuff in clearance, and the next thing you know, but it's still £20 shipping, not $20, 20 pounds, which is like $25-$30 shipping. I'm like, Anyway, so what would you say, Scott? What would you say about this season?
Man, Premier League was brutal. I think watching our matches, and even early on, I get it. I saw Moyes trying to play a little bit more expansive and use things, and he just doesn't. We're not equipped. We're not there, and and so he went back to what he knew, and that took time for the team to readjust to that. It was just brutal. But I honestly, I think that there's no doubt. I think, in my eyes, no doubt, Hammer of the Year should be Paqueta. No doubt. I think he was class, even when he was struggling to get into the league, figure out the league and all that. He's still head and shoulders above most of our players. And he, like I said before, he was the guy that created the goal that wins us the cup. You know, a through ball at the outside of his foot. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's just dirty. You don't. It's not some. I mean, I've coached some spectacular players. They don't do stupid things. They wouldn't do stupid things like that, you know? And so, like, I think he was easily by far the best player. And I think, you know, Rice was up there. He played well when he did what he was supposed to do. You know, he led the team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough though because there are other players that really shined for maybe a few games in a row and then just dipped, or maybe struggled in the beginning and then turned it up, like Ben Rama turned it up near the end of the season. Fornals had a few games where it was just he was a world beater, you know, in a few games, like throughout the whole season though, you know, and
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, consistency wise, you're right. I think you know, Paqueta. Mark was giving us trouble about especially my pronunciation. It's in Caribou. Is it like Carabao or
Yeah, I think it's Carabao.
Carabao? Carabio? Carabio. Yeah. Sorry, Mark. I'll have to try that sometime. But yeah, I was. Listen, it was difficult, and I made a video. I popped out of nowhere because I hadn't done these videos in a while, and I popped up with a little video of me in my mail truck, you know, because I was so frustrated, and said, "Listen, you know, thank you for Europe, thank you for what you've done, but you know, it's time to go." And I believe that was back in like January or something like that. I can't even remember, but I was hoping that he would be gone before the World Cup. That would have been the perfect time to get rid of him if we were going to do it. But at the same time, there was nobody. There was nobody. Everybody saying, "Well, who are you going to replace him with?" I don't know anybody. Like anybody. Like get somebody in there, some fresh face. It could have been anybody. I mean, whatever. And then who knows what could have happened, obviously. But again, looking at the competition that we faced in the Europa Conference League, I think anybody could have got our team of awesome players to perform and still win the cup. I don't know. But maybe not. I don't know. And then the other thing is, you know, let's hopefully next year we'll take the cups more seriously. But I don't think so, because once we're in the Europa League next year, I think they're going to go all in again and then hope for the best, especially with Moyes. Like that's his thing. Let's stay out of relegation. Let's just, you know, we might flirt with it, but we'll stay out of it. Same thing's going to happen next year, but he's going to go all in because again, you win the Europa. What happens the next year? You're in the Champions League.
Exactly what it is.
So, and then he becomes another hero. They're gonna take his statue and they'll bronze it. You know, so, but I don't know. I'm not a fan, obviously. I mean, again, people keep saying like, "Well, how can you be upset with him?" And you saved us from relegation a few times, and you know, he's now won the trophy and so on. Well, again, because we as supporters watch what our players can do. I mean, we see their talent, but we also see the bonehead decisions. We see the bonehead substitutions, the bonehead lineups, playing counterattack against teams that we should not be playing counterattack against, and then also sitting in the pocket on. I don't know. It's a lot of. We get lucky. We've gotten lucky a bit. I think in this past season, I think we probably could have been relegated. I really do. I'm kind of shocked that we weren't. I really was expecting it, and then but still winning the cup. But I don't know. I hope for better. I really don't think we're going to make any splashes whatsoever in the transfer market. I think we're going to keep what we got and maybe add another, you know, maybe championship face or two. Maybe they will get that guy from Coventry. Maybe they will, you know, pick up another European guy that won't fit in, you know, because and we will not give him time and yeah. So whatever. I don't know. What are your expectations or what are your hopes for this upcoming season? We'll go with Scott and go Wally and we'll wrap up the show.
I think honestly we have the team. We could finish top 10. I mean, we have that ability. It's about results, and you know, if the VAR gave us back some points, we'd be in the top 10. Think about that, right? Like if we got back with 9 points, VAR took from us, 8 or 9 points they took over the year. So if we take those points back, now we're top 10.
Yeah.
I think we crash out in the semifinal of Europa again. I think that we finish top 10. That would be my hope. I mean, that would be ideal. I mean, that would be a great season for us, coming on the back of, being in the relegation fight until the last 3 weeks.
Wally?
Yeah, well, one thing I was thinking of, I heard that because I think the Europa is going to be a lot tougher, obviously, than the Conference League. And last year when we went to the semis, I think our group was pretty easy, and then we did some.
Yeah.
We had a couple of great wins against Seville and Lille, but the one thing is, if you come in third in your Europa League group, you drop down to the Conference League. So we could repeat with the Conference League again.
That's your worst case scenario. I'll take it.
Yeah.
Listen, I'd rather us do that and actually maybe finish in the top 6 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, at least try. At least try. Have a good team and really focus and put together a team over again. The Premier League to me is everything. I mean, we used to have this question on our channel when we would interview new people that we've never had on the channel before, like supporters from all over the world, and would ask them. And this was written by our dude down in Dallas. I forgot his name too. It's been so long, but he wrote these questions, 10 questions, and one of them was, would you rather win the FA Cup or top 6 finish or top 4 finish, or I think it was top 4 finish. I can't remember what it was. I think we changed it at one point, but it was because people would battle with it because again we hadn't won the FA Cup since '80, right? And we hadn't won a trophy since then. So everybody's like, oh well, we weren't even considering Europe because we really weren't even in Europe when we started that questionnaire. I think we did just get in Europe, but either way, it wasn't an option. But now it's like, I would take a top 4 finish any day over a Europa League win. I'd rather get into the to the Champions League as a top 4 team than winning the Europa League, is my point. Just because the league is longer, it's more competitive. It's one of the most, in my opinion, the most competitive league in the world. So if you make it into the top 4 and you actually earn yourself a spot in the Champions League, that is like, even being that 4th place team or that 3rd place team, that's tougher. That's harder. It's a much harder achievement than I don't know, a third of the games of a regular season. Like overall, the tournament of Champions League or the tournament of Europa League, the amount of games that we played in Europa League and we only made it to the semifinals, whatever, right, was a third, I guess, right? Roughly a third.
Yeah, about that.
Of what you played in a Premier League season. So I don't know. That's just my opinion.
My wife supports Newcastle, and so like I've watched her take the ride. I know I've watched her take the ride, up to the top, and I'm just like, damn, honey.
Yeah. I've always not hated them, and it was because of that, and also because of their support and because of their suffering, and yet their successes and then suffering and so on and so on, and up and down, but this. It must be nice to have that Abu Dhabi money or wherever that is. Money.
Look, I'm just gonna say so I went to a match up there with her, and Newcastle was one of the friendliest, nicest little cities. It was beautiful. I loved it, and
I've never heard
all my love. Like I told her, I was like, look, I'll support you 100% in your Newcastle venture.
Yeah.
But I took her to a match. She loved every minute of it. It was beautiful. But I unfortunately got hooked on with the Hammers too early.
Right.
And when the Sheiks came in for them, I was like, hey man, I'd rather have a billionaire own my team than a millionaire.
Yeah,
because a billionaire can just spend money all day long.
Listen, if you can't beat them, join them, right? That's what I say. It's like if all these other clubs like City, like they were nothing until then. I mean,
Right.
Chelsea
Correct.
was horrible. Chelsea was up and down until the Russian oligarch came in, and the oil baron, and with his billions and stuff, and now, now Newcastle. So hey,
Yeah.
if you can't, I mean, I would take it all day long. Oh, but you'll lose the soul of the club. No, you won't, because we're all here. We are all
Yeah.
here. We've all been here, and also the people who've been lifers, from England, right, that are there. They're not going anywhere. They'll be there even when the money's there. So the
Yeah.
soul will still be there. The heart of the club will still be there, no matter what. Let's just win some
The
games.
soul of the club is the fans. The soul of the club is the fans.
100%. That's my opinion. Yeah, it's 100%. 100%. There's people that will argue. They love arguing, especially our fans. We love to argue. Anyway,
Oh,
so
no
someone
doubt.
said love Europe because of the extra games. 100%, dude. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, we should focus on the league. That's all I'm saying. Let's focus on the league. Let's get some. Let's whoop some Newcastle. Let's whoop some Nottingham Forest. Let's whoop some Luton. How about that too?
There we go. Yeah, we better.
I swear to God, I got to get Robert Banks on this show. Robert, if you see this is my call out to you. You got to come on the show because I got to find out. Are you going to the away game next year? Are you going to the away day in Luton? And can I come with you? Because, dude, I would love to experience that. Anyway.
I think his book was called something like an irrational hatred of Luton or something like that. Yeah,
exactly. That's what it was called. Yes.
Oh.
Yes, Irrational Hatred of Luton. And he wrote a couple other books that were great too.
Yeah.
So please check those out. Yes, Mark, Premier League first, 100%. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. And honestly, this we're talking about fandom and stuff like that. I have this. This is the first jersey that I ever that I ever purchased. This is the 11-12 away when we were in championship, because the first time I started fully following West Ham, we were actually halfway through the relegation season, 10-11. And then my first full season as a West Ham supporter was, I'll never forget this, and I'll say this a million times because I love it. It's the greatest experience in the world. My first experience was literally taking a computer and trying to find dodgy streams from whatever country I could find that would have all these pop-up ads and stuff like that, and I'd have to keep shutting them off my laptop to be able to watch West Ham, because again, like Scott, you mentioned the other day, they had a Fox Soccer deal, and even at that time, Championship would play the best of matches, not the best of, maybe they could have one or two Championship matches as well in that season. So I was able to watch a few on TV of West Ham. I think it was the first one I watched on the actual TV was a 0-0 draw against Palace. So it was the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life. It was Allardyce against Dougie Friedman, man. It was the most excruciating thing. It was just 100% boring. I'm like, God damn, the one time they're on the TV. So anyway, but that was the greatest season of my life because we took the league seriously. No, it wasn't Premier League, obviously. It was Championship, but we won. They fought to win. They fought to annihilate. They fought to destroy. They fought to embarrass. They went out there every game to try to get promoted, and they did. I mean, they, by the skin of their teeth, they did. And, took them to the playoff final, but they did it. And that was the most enjoyment I ever had to this day. I had more enjoyment at the playoff final, 11-12 season playoff final, than I did watching, or not even watching, I was listening to on the radio, so I was working, the Conference League final, because that trophy to me was more important because the league trophy was harder to get than the conference. But anyway, that's just, again, I like to wrap up shows with my opinion. That's my
Yep. There you go.
This is my opinion. Anyway, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. The what is this? Oh, before we go, Luton did bring the plastic pitch. Yeah, I heard they're having issues. Getting their stadium up to standards for the Premier League, but I guess they weren't expecting or anticipating winning, or getting in the Premier League. So, so thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Danny and Anthony from Arkansas. Are you still in Arkansas? Actually, I think Anthony just bought a house. Congratulations, dude. and Kieran. Kieran, good seeing you. And of course, our brother from down under, Neil. Good seeing you as well. And Scott, thank you for taking the time with me and enjoying this little hour with me. And Wally, thank you so much for popping in. Hope to do this again sometime.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hit up our social media. Anybody who's watching this, so that you can stay tuned to when we're actually going to be doing new shows. But also, you can subscribe to our channel and then get notifications when we're going to be doing new shows. So please do that and like this video if you do or did like it. Otherwise, I don't know. I'll talk to you two off the air real quick, but everybody else,
Yeah.
come on, you irons.
All right.
Come on, you honors.